spider monkey.
No, the diamonds are here.
You greasy bastard. Where's my shoes?
Sign your pity on the running time.
Big and white and cruel and mean.
Kiss my Converse. Easy, white chocolate. I wouldn't want you to melt.
But you just have to give me twice as much blood.
I'm coming.
I don't want you to come.
You're gonna need a bigger
Spider monkey. Spider monkey. Hold on tight, spider monkey.
And welcome to the Bowels of Movie Night. I'm Isaac, and with me, as always, is my fearless co-host, Larry. How are you doing this week, Larry?
So I work this shitty corporate job. I mean, it's not shitty. I've had worse jobs, but it's not fun most days. And I spent today 7 combined hours in meetings.
That's a lot of meetings.
And at one point, I was in 2 meetings at the same time. Both were about the same thing. It was 2 different terminals that were having the same problem. And I literally ran on my 2 fat feet across the floor to the different meetings and attended them and fixed the problems in one until I saw a head standing up at the other one, and then I would run back on my fat feet to the other one and attend that one while the other group was working on the things I just proposed in the first meeting. And then when the second meeting would be in enough trouble and their head shot up, I would go run to that one. And that's how I spent like 45 minutes of the 2 meetings I was in at the same time. So I'm good. I'm feeling real punchy. I wanted to start recording today at 5:15.
Jeez.
It's 8 o'clock. I have to be somewhere in an hour. I'm going to be late for that.
Oh my god.
Because I'm not slowing this fucking train down. This is getting done. And what made it worse in a way, and this is going to sound completely idiotic, but 2 days ago, I was trying to remember a dirty limerick my father once told me. And I've spent the last 2 days silently furious that I couldn't remember it. And it appears to not exist on the internet.
Oh no.
I've looked up every word I know in every iteration I know to try and find some version of this limerick, and it's lost to time. And I say a lot of things as jokes, but I mean this wholeheartedly. For the first time since his death, I genuinely miss my father. Because I want him to tell me this limerick so I can get it out of my head.
Well,
so that's
everyone
my day.
Processes grief differently.
It's not so much grief as it is. I could rest.
It's really interesting because your story of workplace meeting anxiety and then also having like paternal thoughts reminds me of my grandfather, who made his sizable but modest middle class fortune working as an engineer for Sun Oil, Sunoco. And he ended up moving to Puerto Rico in the 1980s. And like he was in his mid 50s. He had a long career there, but he still wasn't really close to retiring. And then he said in one meeting where they were just talking about the same thing over and over and over again, and it was the same meeting had happened every single Friday for the last 4 months. He said he had an out of body experience and immediately was like, I retire. I retire.
Oh, that is amazing.
I retire.
That's the dream. That's why I want to go out.
And he retired at age like 55 because he was an oil engineer. He made a shitload of money on salary. He wasn't like wealthy, but he was a small-time millionaire.
Wow.
And just retired at 55 and spent a lot of time with his grandkids and traveled the world and enjoyed the last 35 years of his life.
That's genuinely the American dream, I think.
It really is. What? No, seriously. When he had cancer and he was dying, like my cousin's husband, who has no filter, was like, when he was like in the hospital, he was like, "Oh, how do you feel about dying?" And he was like, "I don't know, kind of scared, but like all things considered, I won the game. You know,
yes.
I lived in my 80s with my wife. I had a loving family. I made money. I won. So like, I'm a little scared, but you know, I did as good as I could. Fuck it, I guess."
Wow. Was it him you said you had recordings of?
Yes.
Yeah.
We talked when. Yeah, within weeks of his death, because he died before Christmas, and I think after we came back after the last Thanksgiving dinner, we all sat around and I just asking him about, because he watched the Hindenburg. He was like 8 years old when the Hindenburg crashed.
Wow.
And he went to see the wreckage, and he was like a teenager in World War II and like all this shit. So we just asked him a bunch of questions, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, my grandfather had briefly flirted with the idea, and he had a far less like exciting life or interesting life. But he had somewhat of a small fortune himself, not nearly that much, but he had a fascinating life, and he was in the Navy, and he had briefly flirted with the idea of like writing his experiences down, and he had a few written down, and I can't find them, and he didn't give them to me, but I couldn't find them after he died, and like that is the one thing I wish I had a chance to like ask him about, just some of the crazy shit he had seen and done while he traveled around, and like.
That's one thing I always mean to do with some of the older people in my life. And like, I wish I had done it 20 years ago, or 10 years ago with my grandparents.
Yeah.
But even honestly with my mom, who's born in 1955, she's 66 now, 67, I don't fucking know. But yeah, just like, what was it like? Like, you were 8 when Kennedy was assassinated. I don't know. You watched the Beatles live on Ed Sullivan as a kid. Like, what was all that like?
It's weird because I've had an experience like that because I used to play D&D with some people. I remember the one guy I used to play with was like 16, and I was like talking about 9/11, and I was like, fucking wait a minute, you weren't born then. Like, you weren't, even that is like, what? This is a fucking show about movies and farts, and I'm going to talk about tits a lot. So what are we doing? What's happening? Holy Christ.
We are the Bowels of Movie Night. How did this happen? Jesus, I don't know.
God damn it.
We're two old friends. We make each other watch terrible movies and go into them in excruciating detail. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. Send us email. Send us an email, bowelsofmovienight@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Do all the good podcast things. Rate, subscribe, slap your grandmother around. Tell her memories don't matter a damn. Tell her to listen to this podcast. That's all she's good for.
If you know any dirty limericks that involve the words bang, bang, Betty, please, God, fucking email in and tell me, because I need to get this song out of my head. What?
What rhymes with Betty? SETI? The Search for Extraterrestrial
Bang,
Intelligence?
bang, Betty. Bang her all night long. Who will bang my Betty when I am dead and gone? It's a whole bit. I know 3 of the lines, and I don't know the rest. And he had... This fucking limerick had verses.
You know how limericks work?
No, I'm saying limerick. I don't know. It was rhyme, song, whatever. It just... When I think
limericks...
When I think of like...
AABBA.
Okay. Excuse me, fucking William Shakespeare. Pardon me.
Sorry, I know what a limerick is.
I don't.
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
Well, you should be.
I'm proud I know what a limerick is.
This movie does not merit this level of conversation.
What are you covering this week,
The
Larry?
Hungover Games.
Wait, no. I'm sorry. Did you say the Hunger Games?
No.
Did you say the Hangover?
No.
So what are you covering? I'm confused.
I'm covering the Hungover Games.
That's not a movie.
Well, you see, Isaac, but it is.
Oh, no. Man, you're just pulling from that gallon of vodka like a madman.
I don't know how much. This is 3 quarts of water. I'm pretty sure I'm going to drink all of it in the course of this recording.
Jesus. Say goodbye to your sleep tonight.
I don't
Mr.
sleep.
Pee Pants.
Mr. Pee Pants. My father was Mr. Pee Pants. Please, just call me Pee Pants. That wasn't very funny. All right, so fucking the Hungover Games, there's titties 1 out of 10. Review over. Next week, Isaac's reviewing, I don't know, Big Lebowski or something.
Is it Big Lebowski?
No.
Oh, no. It's Heavy Metal 2000.
Yeah.
I've watched 10 minutes of it so far, and I'm so confused and annoyed.
All right, the Hungover Games, 2014 comedy film. Fucking kill me. It has, on the tomato meter, there's no review. There's 1 review. There's no score because... people have better things to do. I certainly don't. The audience score is 18%. Pretty rough.
Oof.
Pretty
we don't
rough.
get that low
This
very
is
often.
deep into like the era of movie parodies like this, like the scary movie genre.
Because, Scary Movie really kind of launched it, where it was sort of a response to Scream and some of the other horror movies from around the turn of the century. Yeah. And the first Scary Movie was like, 2003? Something like that?
Something like that. This is
a decade later when this genre of parody has been all but exhausted. And really, it kind of hasn't picked back up, right? It sort of died out around
I'm guessing
time.
These are still being made on the side and we're just not aware of them.
Maybe.
I truly don't know. I didn't know this existed. Isaac, can you do me a favor?
No.
Can you, Isaac, I command you to do this for me. Can you look up what year the Hunger Games came out?
2011?
2012. Close.
Okay.
Can you look up what year The Hangover came out?
2009, I know that.
This movie came out in 2014.
Okay.
What's 2014 minus 2009?
5 years.
5 years. So a parody 5 years later. Now, there was the Hangover 2 and 3 in the interim, but this is a spoof of the original Hangover. Except it's not, because it's also technically the Hangover 4. I'm going to kill myself live on fucking camera. The IMDb rating is a 3.6 out of 10, and the image for the trailer of the Hungover Games is just cleavage. It's just cleavage.
Oh, I mean, don't say just cleavage. Cleavage is a monument to man.
We got a lot to talk about, and also nothing to talk about. It's amazing. I don't want to talk.
3.6 is low for IMDb. We don't usually dip that low.
No, that's very low. There's a few actors of note I want to mention briefly, but there's not much to talk about because fuck everyone who had anything to do with this. They don't. It's like you didn't even have have the balls to write a movie. You just smashed two together and called it a day.
How was Meryl Streep's performance? Because she's a star of the screen.
I'm gonna say subdued.
Oh,
she's a star of Isaac. She's a star of stage and screen.
Well,
I think
right.
the Mike Tyson.
I stand corrected.
Isaac, the role of Mike Tyson in this movie, I believe, is played by a Kermit the Frog puppet.
What?
A knockoff Kermit the Frog puppet.
Well, yeah, but also, still, my question stands: what?
Oh, you'll see. Or not. Before we go anywhere.
No, what? I suddenly am very sorry I did this to you.
You should be.
I don't usually feel that way.
Well, I don't know. We have a lot to talk about. Before we go anywhere, this movie, to be any sort of quote-unquote enjoyable, relies heavily on the fact that you have not only seen The Hunger Games and The Hangover relatively recently, but also generally have your finger on the pulse of entertainment in the time period roughly between 2009 and 2014. And as it is 2022, and I have quietly slid into a hole of depravity from which I hope never to escape, I don't have my finger on the pulse of anything. So I have seen both The Hunger Games and The Hangover, but have not seen them since 2009 and 2012 because astonishingly I saw both of those movies in theaters.
Well, full disclosure, I saw the Hangover when it came out. I was a big Zach Galifianakis fan before he was cool. Like, I'm such a hipster.
Yeah, you're real cool, man. You get a lot of dick
I'm
sucking.
the coolest. I need to put on flannel and like a hat.
Wax your mustache.
So, I've been doing that.
If you ever come to me with a tweedleded up, waxed up mustache, the show's over. Just so
it takes so much more work than you would think because I've tried it before. But you need to like blow dry it and curl it with a comb.
I don't have a problem with anything any human does, except for that. That is the one thing to me that is just There's just some, sometimes
it's too much
you
work.
gotta draw a line in the sand.
But
waxed mustaches is my line.
I have not seen any of the Hunger Games actually, or read the books or anything. My wife was super into it. Read the books, all the movies.
Are you fucking kidding me? You need to. No. What?
Yeah, I haven't seen them.
I have to explain the Hunger Games to you too.
I mean, I know vaguely how it works.
Are you kidding me?
She's poor and she wants money, so she kills people.
Every story beat is a fucking from the Hunger Games. I hate you so much. Are you serious? You're fucking with me, right?
No, I really have not seen the Hunger Games.
God damn it! God damn it! How have you done this to me?
I don't know. I didn't know it would hurt you this bad.
You fucking gotta I'm literally frothing at the mouth.
There's oligarchs who like to watch people fight each other to death.
Shut up.
It's The Long Walk. Written by Richard Bachman.
Shut the fuck up.
I've read The Long Walk. I know how this works. I know how this works.
Isaac, this is a parody.
Garrity is just played by someone with tits.
This is a parody movie of The Hunger Games. So all the story beats are references to The Hunger Games, which I thought, I don't need to explain in detail. Isaac's certainly seen that. Why would he give this to me if he hadn't?
I've read The Long Walk. I'm good.
I hate you.
Larry, come on. Come on. Tell me how you really feel.
So our movie, if you can call... I am too fucking livid. Movie, if you could call it.
Do you want to take a muffin break? Do we need to take a muffin break? We can pause.
I think there's barbecue in my future this evening, and I'm hoping so, because I may upend a table otherwise. We open up on some shots of wildlife, piles of various weapons, and a field strewn with corpses as we see our Bradley Cooper stand-in, who is appropriately named Brad, calling an anxious groom who is debating to know where his partner is. So the fucking the three main characters of The Hangover, I don't care what their names are. They were played by Bradley Cooper, Zach Galifianakis, and Ed Helms. In this movie, those characters who represent those actors are named Brad, Ed, and Zach. So you have to do very little. It's a very short walk, thankfully. I'm genuinely thankful they did that because you don't have to think about it. So
I'm still annoyed.
You can fuck yourself.
I will later tonight after we're done.
I'm going to do the world's fastest recap of The Hangover for those who haven't seen it. The Hangover is about four dudes. One of them is getting married, and they go to have a bachelor party, I think. I haven't seen it, and I haven't looked at the plot details, so I'm remembering from 2012. They're going to a bachelor party, and Zach Galifianakis drugs all of them. He, roofies all of them. And
accidentally, kind of.
Sure. Bradley Cooper and Galifianakis and Ed Helms wake up, and the fourth guy, who is the groom, is gone. And they are looking, and they wake up, and their hotel room is trashed, and there's all kinds of crazy shit. They have Mike Tyson's tiger there for some reason, and all kinds of ridiculous shit. And they're basically piecing together their night and what happened to find where their friend is.
It's a great premise for a movie.
It is a great premise for a movie. Well. I think it's a 4 out of 10 execution. I don't really
8 out of 10.
I don't really like Zach Galifianakis. I think he's a good dude. I think his character in the Hangover movies it irritates me too much. I think his
you don't like cringe humor The Office and stuff, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. What's your Between Two Ferns take? Have you seen
I haven't seen much of it, but every clip of it I've seen where the guests are mean to him is fucking hilarious. So I don't hate Zach Galifianakis. I just this character he plays in The Hangover I just have no patience for it.
Do you know there's a Between Two Ferns movie?
Yeah. I heard it's not as good as the show, as the understanding I have.
It's a very different vehicle.
Yeah,
maybe I'll have to make
it sounds like it sounds like it's just trying to capitalize on something that didn't need to be capitalized on. Was my understanding that I got? Because Between Two Ferns is the idea is a talk show, and then the movie was what if he also goes on an adventure? And it's who wants to fucking see that guy go on an adventure? Isn't that the idea?
Me, I'm the target audience. I watched it the night it came out.
Of course you did. Yeah, you're a Galifianakis groupie, and I'm just he's fine. I don't like his Hangover character, but he's. We
refer to him as Knockus in the community.
I almost believe that. I think the Hangover is 4 out of 10. Yeah, we kind of do. But yeah, long story short. Oh my god. Long story short, yeah. It's Ed Helms and Bradley Cooper and Zach Galifianakis learn the true meaning of friendship and bro-heim-ism as they go on this adventure, and then they made 2 joyless sequels.
Sequel's no good.
So yes, in the Hungover Games, this is our parallel scene where we start in media res, and we assume that all hope is, because in the beginning of the Hangover, we start with them the groom's dead, we can't find him, it's all over, and this movie starts the same way. And also the groom that the Hangover guys are looking for, the fourth member of their pack, is gay in this version. And it's not really played up for jokes, except when it is. Basically, the Bradley Cooper stand-in makes a bunch of jokes for it, but generally we don't really... It's not I can't believe you're sucking dick, bro. It's usually played for teasing jokes, which it doesn't seem too hurtful. It just seems like cheap fodder for jokes.
This was also released the year before the Supreme Court legalized gay marriage, so I'll give it a little benefit of, the age it came out in.
From watching it, it's more like the jokes that are made were lame as opposed to being, hateful.
Yeah, okay.
It's more, because it's it's at one point in the beginning, the groom is oh yeah, I think his wife, or his husband's name is Tracy. And he's oh yeah, well, Tracy just completes me. And then Bradley Cooper's did you just say completes in me? It's yeah, it's not really hurtful. It's just just shit. It's just a dumb, shitty joke.
Yeah.
And that comes at one point, yeah, it's not, and it's not, there's not many either. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
They don't really dwell on it. But, where the fuck? Oh, I hate this. I hate everything about this. So, following this
no matter who you're having sex with, you kind of usually complete in them, or complete on them. Those are kind of your 2 options, right?
Or just complete.
Gay, straight, whatever. I don't know.
Sure. Following this phone call, we drift off into the sky and see scrolling text that says the following, like Star Wars scrolling text, basically. And this is a direct quote. There was an uprising. In penance for their lack of creativity, Hollywood was forced to offer up tributes. Each district of the pantheon of pop culture sent contestants to a public arena where they fought to the death. This pageant was known as the Hungover Games.
So this movie thinks it's really clever and self-referential?
What? No, this is just the Hunger Games. You haven't seen the fucking Hunger Games, so you don't understand. That's the Hunger Games, except instead of it being America, it's just Hollywood. Okay, I'll just go over the Hunger Games now, because fucking clearly, I thought I could get away with telling about it later, but I forgot that my fucking co-host is a dumb MAGA hat. I don't know where that came from. Dumb idiot.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen the Hunger Games. I'm just not interested.
I'm just, and I don't care that you didn't see the Hunger Games. I care that you gave me a parody of the Hunger Games, forcing me to explain to you in great detail the Hunger Games.
My problem is Jennifer Lawrence just wore too many clothes.
I don't really like Jennifer Lawrence, but that's unrelated because she is not in this movie.
Right. Well, yeah, obviously.
The Hunger Games, the idea of the Hunger Games is, if I get the details wrong, Hungover Games fanatics, fucking send an email. I'll be sure to read it.
The cat lady has to save her family, and then she fights to the death in front of a bunch of rich people, right?
That is, yes. Okay, Isaac, yes. That is the basic premise. But you understand, Isaac, do you understand? There's an hour-and-a-half movie that spoofs the other hour-and-a-half movie, and you can't just say 2 sentences and be like, yeah, I got it, I don't need anything explained to me. You fucking dunce.
She has a bow and arrow.
I'm going to drive to New Jersey tonight, fueled by hate, 3 liters of water, and possibly barbecue, and strangle the fucking life out of you with my own bare hands.
Philip Seymour Hoffman was in it.
So, the Hunger Games, for Isaac and those of you who don't know, is America is broken up in, I don't care if it's not just America. Shut up, emailers. America is broken up into 12 districts. That's like basically imagine 12 states, and that whatever fucking over the top capitalism at its finest. Basically, the poor people live in the poor districts, like on the East Coast, and the rich people live in the rich districts on the West Coast. And there was some fucking rebellion, and in penance for that, every year there is a battle royale of 2 people from each district who go into this fucking big open, basically like a big foresty arena that's like got technological advanced stuff in it. And they have to fight to the death, and the winner gets to live and like becomes rich. Although that usually is backhanded because capitalism is bad. Yeah, real thoughtful. I don't know. But I have problems with the Hunger Games. I don't have problems with it. It's just much better. There's much better interpretations of the same genre in Japan. Anyway, so yeah, and then fucking that's the major premise of the Hunger Games is that there's these games that every year everybody from a fucking district has to submit people to go and fight each other to death. Don't. Whatever you're about to say. I can't see you. I don't have your face up on the screen, but I know you well enough to know you're coming up with some comeback right now that's going to make me mad.
I'm just focusing on not reaching for the fart machine, which is still on my desk.
I thought you were getting rid of that.
I was supposed to, and then I didn't.
Well, I expect to fart later. Okay, so yeah. So that little crawl where they're like, Hollywood has to do it. The difference in this movie, it's Hollywood that has to do it. The pop culture has to do it. That crawl is the only explanation we get for basically the majority of this movie. They don't even bother to do anything but just awkwardly slam these 2 movies together and write like 1 line of dialogue to say how they got there. That's it. And just hope it's funny. And guess what? It's not. So we get back to the ominous title crawl in a little bit. But for now, we cut to our heroes, Brad, Ed, Zach, and the 4th one. We see they're in Laughlin, Nevada, and the title crawl tells us that it is 2 centuries before the uprising, which, if I cared enough about this garbage, would be incredibly infuriating, but I just don't give a fuck, so we're not even going to bother.
Okay, fair enough.
Because they don't give a fuck either. And I know I say that sometimes, but, like, this is a movie where no one actually gave a fuck. Truly, like, it's just, yeah, Hunger Games, Hangover, fucking sure, put that shit together, who cares? We got our however much money it cost to make this, which I didn't look. So anyway, yeah, the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and so they're named after the Hangover actors' real-life counterparts. These actors are nobodies. I don't recognize their names. I didn't look them up because fuck all of them. So, yeah, Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms, Zach Galifianakis, it's shitty, fucking great value versions of them. And they are slow walking into a casino called the Chief Loose Slots, which I don't know if it's racist, but it sure seems racist.
That's definitely barking on the door of problematic.
These characters are piss poor representations of the real actors and real characters, but how can I complain about it when that's the point? They're meant to be shitty. The problem is they're also meant to be funny, and they 100% are not. They bitch about the hotel room. There's a splash of semen across the TV, which the pamphlet reinforces is actual semen. There's a few pretend Bradley Cooper, cool guy, gay jokes while the groom gushes a little about his husband-to-be. Zach is reading the Hunger Games, the real actual Hunger Games books, and talking about the characters in it, to which everybody groans as it is a young adult fiction novel, and they're big old dick cock swinging, pissing, and farting during sex boys.
That's why you need a janitor on the spaceship, Larry. Those cocks are swinging left, right.
Isaac, a janitor.
Janitors.
I fucking got you there real quick. All right. So the morning dawns, and much like the Hangover, the boys wake up in a trashed room that has been destroyed in various quote-unquote interesting ways. Anybody and their mother parodied this scene in the years following this movie, so it is a very tired trope at this point. You've probably seen this before. I psyched it an episode that parodied it, for example. I'm sure it was on SNL probably twice. There's a scuba diver duct taped to the ceiling. Zach is wearing ladies' thongs, etc., etc. It's very tired.
Yeah, seriously.
Ed is complaining about his mouth tasting like shit, and Bradley is complaining that his ass hurts. Isaac, think about the early aughts and then consider what that might be.
The 80 his ass?
Is that all you've got?
I think so.
Okay. While everybody is bitching about their predicament looking at the room, a woman in pink with pink hair and globs of makeup strides into the room. This is a character from the Hunger Games who is named Effie Trinket, and the joke here is that her name is effing Trinket. Isaac, do you get it? Do you get the laziest joke of all time, Isaac?
I think I do, and I'm kind of sad.
Zach recognizes her as Effie because he was reading the Hunger Games, but the real
Ew.
one. Yeah.
I don't like...
Which is a thing that exists in the reality in this movie version the Hangover guys are from.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
You understand why I'm very upset.
I'm sorry I hurt you.
Ed tries to leave, and they discover they're on a train, which is another thing from the Hunger Games. Go fuck yourself early. She fills them in a little, and we see the video of the three of them and the groom that are getting wasted in, like, the fenced-in yard of a motel. It's very lame. There's a big... I just want to talk about things that I'm like, oh, he'll get it. He's seen the Hunger Games. I can't do it. I'm so mad. There's like a big... So the fucking idea in the Hunger Games, the actual Hunger Games, is everybody gets gathered together in like a big square, and there's like a big screen, and they read off the names of who got selected from the bingo pot this year. And there's this version of that. And in the real Hunger Games, the main character, Katniss, volunteers to fight and die in the Hunger Games because her little sister gets chosen. And in this version, these three fuck-offs are just drunk and volunteer because they're hammered. Then by drunk, I mean they're also like high as tits. So yeah, fucking there, and it's all shot like on their cell phone drunk cam, so it's very unfunny. There's another brief interaction with a guy that fucking forget it. It's not even worth explaining because you don't know what I'm talking about.
Wait, the Hunger Games? What?
We cut to news coverage of the Hungover Games that will continue we will continue to see throughout this movie. Yeah, those guys volunteered for the Hungover Games is what you need to learn from that.
So this is still a battle royale to the death?
Yes. Okay. It's just the difference is instead of like it's districts of Hollywood and districts of pop culture. We'll get to that right now. In fact,
see, they think they're being clever. They think they're self-referent. Oh, we're going to skewer the movie industry.
No. You're giving this. It is disgusting to say you're giving it too much credit. You're giving it credit, Isaac.
That's
this is
what they
not
thought
a movie
they were doing. I'm not saying they accomplished it.
No, they didn't even think they were doing that. You'll understand as I go through it that this is just a quick and dirty attempt to get a bit of cash off people who are like, that's Jack Sparrow. I know him. He's from them pirate flicks. Like it does not extend farther than that. Like this might be the most cash grabby movie we've ever had.
Damn.
There truly is no soul to this whatsoever. It is just how many references can we squeeze? It is all references and nothing else. This could be a YouTube video. Like it truly doesn't matter. So that we cut to like a news broadcast of the Hungover Games. This broadcast features two announcers. One is a black man with a pink afro who uses very over-the-top stereotypical black affectations to a very unfunny effect. The other commentator is Caitlyn Jenner.
Wait, actually Caitlyn Jenner?
Yes, not playing Caitlyn Jenner, just Caitlyn Jenner was the actress. At this point, she had not transitioned, so she was still appearing as Bruce Jenner.
Oh.
However, this was before she came out. However,
right,
because this is 2022 and we live in this time, I'm going to call her Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, that's fair. Caitlyn Jenner is also a trash person. Aside from anything to do with their transition.
Yeah, seems like she's kind of shitty, but I don't
she
know.
She killed
enough.
a person with her car.
Oh, I always forget about that. That's right. She did kill a person. Yeah.
Trash person. Like fucking what's his face? Matthew Broderick. Murdered someone with his car for driving recklessly.
Yeah, he's a real influence. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
As
much as I love him in things.
Yeah.
Trash person, bad man.
I'd always heard that Caitlyn Jenner story, but I never had it. I never like followed up on the details. It's just one of those things I kind of vaguely knew about. So that is real. That's a thing that totally happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure how culpable she really was, but it was like she's a huge celebrity, so she just skated regardless. Like,
right? Right. Okay.
And it's just bullshit. Mm. If either you
Absolutely.
or me did that, we would manslaughter charges at least.
Yeah. And you'd probably feel some bit of regret about it. But
Probably, and not be labeled Woman of the Year.
yeah, that's a real fucking problem. I did not see that coming. I was looking at this blankly. I'm like, yeah, Caitlyn Jenner's in this. Okay. Of all the people I would have expected to see,
and that must have been like right before she transitioned, right?
I believe it was. Yeah, right around. I think she transitioned in 2015.
Filmed in like 2013. So
I believe she came out and transitioned in 2015.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So,
damn, interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, these two give us a brief overview of the various districts competing in this year's versions of the games. Isaac, I present to you the highlights of 2014 comedy. We have the superhero district featuring a very gay Thor, and for some insane reason, Borat in a vague superhero outfit, which just like shows off his body hair. We have the Lord of the Rings district with Gandalf and Bilbo. We have the Puppet district with a fucked up Miss Piggy and Kermit, as well as a human-sized Ted, the anthropomorphic teddy bear movie starring Mark Wahlberg, Mila Kunis, and whoever voices Peter Griffin.
Very few things in this are 2014 related.
Well, see, this is what was the people had finger on the pulse of, Isaac. Don't you know that?
The Lord of the Rings? The franchise that ended 11 years previously?
The Hobbit was coming out around then. It was Gandalf and Bilbo. Okay. I believe the second movie was or the third movie was in 2014, actually. So they technically had their finger on the pulse of that one.
Of the Hobbit, right?
Yeah. They call it the Lord of the Rings district, but it is Bilbo, and he's dressed like Bilbo in the movies. So.
Right. Okay.
The Depp district featuring 3 Donnie Jep. Hello, I'm Donnie Jep.
Yo, Donnie Jep, yeah.
You seen Spaghetti de Coco? He owes me some money.
I can knock the dents out of your bumpers real quick with the ball peen hammer. You give me 5 minutes and 4 bags of cocaine, I get it done for you. Donnie Jep.
Donnie, that seems like I think that's Johnny Depp's actual price too. It's whatever you need him to do, he'll do it for 4 bags of cocaine. No offense, Johnny. You're probably not. I don't care about you. So the Depp district featuring 3 Johnny Depp roles being Willy Wonka, Jack Sparrow, and Tonto from The Lone Ranger. The Real Housewives...
These weren't that relevant at that point, I swear to God.
No, well, certainly not Wonka. I don't know about Tonto, and there was probably a Pirates movie then. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Real Housewives district featuring 3 housewives that I'm sure are a reference to a thing I've never seen. The Django district featuring Django and Calvin Candy from the movie Django Unchained.
Oh, Jesus.
The Gratuitous Nudity District, featuring porn stars Caden Cross and Sophie D, possibly the only 2 actresses I recognize in this movie besides Caitlyn Jenner, who are now and remain topless throughout the entire flick. Eat my ass early.
Are the actual porn stars in the movie?
Yes, it's Caden Cross and Sophie D.
Yeah, I like me some Caden Cross. I'm not familiar with Sophie D, but yeah, Caden Cross she's a talent.
We also have the Horror District with Carrie, Stephen King's Carrie, and a zombie. The Avatar District, featuring 2 people painted blue, including the woman being topless. Again, Isaac, eat my whole ass.
Avatar 2009, 5 years ago. Carrie, 1973, 500 years ago.
Okay, in fairness, wasn't there a Carrie reboot around that time?
I don't know. No, there wasn't. There just wasn't.
There
No,
absolutely was. There was a Carrie reboot, and I think it was bad.
You think it was good?
No, it wasn't.
It could have been good?
No, of course not.
That's
Yeah,
not.
that's
not saying anything.
The Carrie reboot was 2013.
Ew, gross.
It was absolutely not good. It has a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it was middle of the road. But in the movie, she's in the Hungover Games, she's totally covered in blood.
Breaking news from Larry Beard: water is wet.
You fucking eat my whole ass. So the district, our version of Katniss. Katniss was the protagonist of the Hunger Games. She uses a bow.
I know this much, you fucking slob.
Do you?
God damn it.
Do you?
That's the one name I know.
And then the Hungover guys. It is just a cornucopia of pop culture nonsense, and I hate all of it except the titties. Isaac, I thought about a bit that would be very funny, but it also relies on my tragic hatred of my own body. So I'm going to spoil this for you now, Isaac. There is a lot of breasts in this movie. There is a phenomenal amount of breasts in this movie. And as such, I am going to allow you to watch me do the rest of this review topless, so that you are also allowed to experience breasts in this movie.
I will. I'll give a comparison rating between your breasts and Caden Cross's breasts.
Okay, well, now I'm basically entirely nude, so that's great. That's great for everybody.
I do want to point out your breasts are not as nice as Miss Cross's.
You don't say.
She has some nice breasts. I believe fake, but still lovely.
You don't say. So, fuck every bit of this. The guys all work together to decide to try and survive the games. They and the other contestants are in a training center, and we get mild, constant bits of side comedy, and that's comedy in air quotes here. The contestants are all... I can't see without a shirt. I just want to kill myself. Just give me a second. I gotta put it back on.
He's putting his shirt back on. I mean, to be fair, Caden's Cross's boobies are like an A+, and your boobies are like, I don't know. I'd say a solid C.
I thought it would be a funny bit, but I just want to die. I can't. So
Larry, your boobies aren't as bad as you think they are.
Okay, so fucking anyway, yeah, they're watched over. Oh god, this is the worst. This is the worst episode. The contestants are all being watched over by a group of sponsors who in the Hunger Games are rich people that could pay to send prizes down to the contestants during all the killing business. The lead one of these sponsors is a knockoff of Tim Gunn from that show that Tim Gunn's in.
Tim Gunn was in a show?
Yeah, he's like a guy, isn't he? Isn't
he like a director?
Who am I thinking of? I thought it was. It's the guy. It's the guy. His line is "Designers make it work." That's the whole bit. Isn't that Tim Gunn?
Isn't Tim Gunn like the director of Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh shit! Is there two? Wait. No. There's two Tim Gunns.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I had to look it up.
It's a good stage name.
I had to look it up. Project Runway apparently is what the Tim Gunn is from. What? Is it the same guy?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was. He got his career on Project Runway and then became a director.
I can't tell. I tell you what, it's not worth the amount of time to look this because I didn't know who he was. Tim Gunn. Now I'm baffled now.
Are you confusing Tim Gunn with Tim Bow and Arrow?
That's Sean James Gunn was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
you fucking idiot!
Shut up,
Tim Gunn. I didn't know who Tim Gunn. I knew the trope because there's people love to do that. Designers make it work, which is the only thing I knew about Tim Gunn. I didn't know where he was from. I just know he's. I assume a gay man, just based on the way that his affectation is used in other media, or maybe that's just a cruel joke. I don't know. But apparently he's on a show called Project Runway. So not James Gunn. Fucking playing on my terrible memory.
They're brothers.
Probably brothers.
They're lovers.
No, they're brothers.
Because, every time I meet someone with the same last name as me, I just have sex with them. It's really awkward because mostly it's just my family.
Yeah, it's the obvious joke, Isaac. Thank you.
Incest, I approve.
Okay, yeah. So these fucking sponsors, by the way, in the Hunger Games, the book and movie, the sponsors have like actual consequence on the plot because they help Katniss out by sending her shit. They never appear again in this movie, so fuck it. Training. The guy who was like running the games has weird shit shaved into his weird fashion beard, and it comes up from time to time, but we get a glimpse of him here. I'm going to call him Weird Beard and just assume he's yet another member of my family I will never acknowledge. There's a running...
Hey, let me tell you, if you meet someone with the same last name,
fuck 'em.
fornicate.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. There's a running gag... Fantastic. That's really just amazing, Isaac. There's a running... I had to stop again and say, what a great bit. There's a running gag... really, you'd think that I would stop doing this, but I just keep trying to continue, and I keep thinking about how great it would be to fuck another beard. Anyway, there's a running gag in this training...
I'm thinking of Vaselining up a beard and
I can't.
and just shoving your dick in the bush.
There's a running gag in this training montage where Sophie D's breasts continue to get stuck in various objects like nets, hammocks, basketball nets. Isaac, it's pretty great.
Yeah,
Wait, shut the fuck up for a second. Just a reminder, she and Caden Cross, who are two pornographic actresses, spend this entire movie with their breasts exposed.
Yeah, well, I lost that aspect of this.
Well, I just want you to know that. There's a dumb scene where Bradley hits on a zombie from The Walking Dead. We see some of the tougher opponents are grouping up and eyeing the boys like pieces of meat for early kills. So Zach and Ed pretend to fight to show off, and Ed gets his ass kicked, which impresses the tougher competitors. In the Hunger Games, this group of tougher competitors were called careers because they did that for a job. Fucking capitalism. Ooh. So I'm going to probably refer to them.
The Hunger Games? I'm not familiar. I'm sorry.
I'm going to kill you with my own two fucking big beard hands. So I'm going to refer to them as I refer to them in that, if I refer to them at all. The careers include flamboyantly gay Thor, life-size Ted. Are you familiar with the movie Ted? Do I have to explain that too?
Seth MacFarlane, Bear, Marky
Yes.
Mark and the Funky Bunch.
That's correct. Yeah, it's Ted he's like human size in this one because it's a guy in a shitty bear suit. A blood-covered Carrie and the lovely and talented porn stars who are, not to put too fine of a point on it, Isaac, nude from the waist up.
I really need to go watch some Sophie D content because I really have not come across her.
Have you?
Unintended. You're welcome. I'm going to go look up some more early people from my family tree. Gotta find some new flesh to poke. Oh, God. That even made me feel dirty.
I'm going to find some new flesh to poke.
That made me feel bad as soon as I said it.
Wow. Ed is recovering.
I'll stick with the old flesh. The missus. She's doing great, by the
How
way.
is the old
She's
flesh?
doing great. She's happy about every decision she's ever made.
Sure she is. She's just been referred to as the old flesh. Oh, God. Ed is recovering from getting his shit beat by Zach and runs into Katniss, who was the main character of the Hunger Games, who is called Catnip. Shut the fuck up. Who is called Catnip in this movie.
Okay.
Recall that Ed Helms is the actor portraying him in this is supposed to be the group loser.
Right. Yeah.
Catnip apparently met Ed last night while they were in the process of becoming hungover and must have had some kind of fling with him or something as she makes out with him immediately upon seeing him. He was too blacked out to recall, so she's kind of disappointed. There's a talking blue jay, again, which is a reference to the Hunger Games. Isn't funny, shut the fuck up. Who gives shitty... It's like a shitty blue jay puppet, like only the beak moves and like the whole thing kind of shifts and shakes like a shitty parrot puppet on like a pirate's shoulder for a Halloween costume.
Because Mockingjay was the second book?
Mockingjay were creatures in... Yes, that's correct. Yes, Mockingjays. Isaac, I want you to know this. I want you to know this right now. I'm going to give you one chance to come clean with me. If at the end of this review you tell me you knew what the Hunger Games is, Isaac, I fucking swear to God, the consequences of that you will live to regret. I'm saying it into a microphone.
I promise. I have not seen or read them. I just know the cultural milieu surrounding them.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I think I'm pretty much... I've exhausted my knowledge of the Hunger Games.
All right. I'm taking you at your word.
Because what's the third book called? The Hunger Bird?
I couldn't tell you. I didn't know Mockingjay was the name of one of the books. I just knew it from the first one.
Okay.
I read the first and second book, and I saw the first and second movie. I don't know how it ends, but I'm sure it's bad.
How did you not finish? That's like watching a fine film by Miss Caden Cross and turning it off 2/3 of the way through and just letting it get soft again.
I wasn't really invested. It was, you know how The Hangover is pretty good, and
Hayden deserves better, Larry.
And then it has 2 joyless sequels. Yeah, spoiler. That's my thoughts on The Hunger Games. The first one's pretty good, and the sequels are very joyless. So yeah, this fucking talking blue jay, it's like a puppet, and it's just it's like yelling at Ed and Catnip. But I bring it up now only because later in the movie it has the only line that is actually good. And it made me laugh. It's pretty good. It's not good, but it did make me laugh, which says more about me.
Good in context.
Anyway, Catnip and Ed flirt and talk, and who gives a shit? There's also a Penn State molestation joke here, too, because my lord, is that so funny.
I guess that was relevant around that time.
Yep. All right, so
that was awkward living in Pennsylvania when that went down.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who were really upset about it, and I'm like, yeah, he did a football and also a rape?
Yeah. Too much rape. You know, I'm gonna come out and say it. There's been too much rape.
I agree.
I want less rape.
I also agree. I also don't want to continue talking about this. This is just what we're stepping on now is what's called a slippery slope, Isaac. So
my political position of less rape is good.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right. Wow. Okay. So it's time for the contest. Tubes are ascending into the arena, which is like a big open sort of field with a forest area. As tubes rise and we see contestants rising up, we get a lovely shot of Miss Cross and Miss D ascending to the top without any clothes on their torsos. The boys are running around looking for their friends and come across Boo, a young black girl. This is a reference to a Hunger Games character, Rue, who either didn't talk at all or barely spoke. I forget. The joke here is that Boo is very quiet until she screams something out very loudly that isn't something a child would say. Like in this case, when they intimate that she's deaf, she shouts, "Fuck you, white boy!" Because you see, Isaac, that is very funny. Question mark?
I'm not. I might be reading too much into this, but like, is naming a black character Boo?
It rhymes with Rue. I think it's problematic, but I think more so like, it rhymes with Rue.
You know what I'm thinking of, right?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, the unpleasant word for black people that starts with an S.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
That I wouldn't do that. No matter if it rhymed with Rue, I just would stay away from that with a 10-foot pole.
Well, this is 2014, and like I said, these people truly. I said this before, but I've never meant it as much that there was no human being attached to the Hungover Games who was passionate about this project. Not one. I think if they were, they were kindly but firmly escorted off the set. So. Anyway, that makes sense. Zach spills bubble tea all over a console, which will unfortunately become the linchpin of the entire movie. The 3 idiots end up on the battlefield, blah, blah, blah. The movie begins. So everybody at the beginning of the Hunger Games and the Hungover Games starts off unarmed in a circle before the cornucopia, which is a large stockpile of weapons people are supposed to run over, grab, and then not get killed trying to leave with. In this case, because this is a parody, it's called the Pornucopia, and many of the weapons are dildo-based, because that's very funny. So the game begins, and everybody runs forward to start grabbing shit. We get very lame fight scenes where some of the people get killed in the center while the boys run around screaming. Nobody gets killed in a particularly interesting way worth mentioning, and eventually everybody scatters, though Catnip does save Ed's life by shooting somebody running up on him, though the camera pans down to her cleavage where we see Ed is absorbed staring at her breasts, and that's the cleavage that is on the IMDb video.
Naturally.
And her breasts are covered, unlike that of Sophie D and Caitlyn Cross, professional porn stars who are frequently shown on screen with only half the typical amount of clothing that humans wear. Isaac, I want you to know that.
Yep. Thanks for rubbing that in. I'm glad you enjoyed that part.
Isaac, those girls live a long time. We also Go on.
I don't feel like it really lessened your suffering that much, and I feel like you're like, just trying to elevate it.
These 2 women also touch each other's breasts a lot.
Damn it. Well, now I'm just kind of at half chub right now.
Like, at one point in the training, Sophie D's breasts are stuck in a net, and Caden is just pushing on the breast to try and push them out of the net. It's pretty nice. I enjoyed that.
I feel like, and I don't know if this is a compliment to you or just how disgusting I am, but I think I could successfully jerk off to you narrating a porn. And I don't know what that says about either of us.
Here's the problem I have with that, Isaac. Not you jerking off to someone narrating a porn. You're jerking off to me narrating a porn.
Well, yeah, but you did a pretty good job just then. Like, I felt a little a twinge in the old meat downstairs. That little muscle's got a little life in it.
Man, there is part of me that is
wants to get me off.
That is an entertainer and thinks, well, that's content. And there's another part of me that is a human being and says, well, I have to sleep that night as well.
If you could make $2,000 a month only fansing your feet, would you do it?
Yes.
Fair enough. Me too.
I had to think about it, but yeah, I think I would.
I definitely would.
I hate feet too. I know.
I know. Me too.
It's the only part of the human body that I universally just have no interest in whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm not quite that repulsed, but like I don't have any attraction. Okay, anyway, what
this is
just
terrible.
Finish this movie
I was
up.
just talking.
Finish this up.
Oh, Isaac, we're on page 3 of 8.
Ah, God, Jesus.
Yeah. We also get a brief Django and Calvin Candy interaction, which is very lamely played like the movie, only much shittier. Before Django shoots Calvin Candy and says, "I like the way you die, boy," but it's much shittier because it's done by hacks. And then Django.
And by hacks, you mean Leonardo DiCaprio and Jamie Foxx?
No, I mean 2 hacks.
Oh, okay.
And then Django is immediately killed by an incredibly racist anthropomorphic Ted, who beats Django to death with a baseball bat, and then teabags Django and insists that it's not a hate crime, but then follows it up with more racist shit by saying like the typical, "I'm not a racist," and then here's all the racist reasons why I'm not a racist. Ted also has an exposed teddy bear cock they managed to shoehorn into every scene.
God, Jesus.
Anyway,
teddy bear cock? Someone had to make that teddy bear cock.
Yeah.
The props had to make a teddy bear cock.
I mean, they made a trident that was made out of dildos, so honestly, like...
But there's something about a teddy bear cock that, like, is so abusive to the innocence of a teddy bear that I'm upset.
How do you think Ted's gonna die?
Get his cock ripped off?
He's gonna get his cock shot off. Anyway, Ed and Brad got separated from Zach in that melee and run into this movie's version of the Ken Jeong character from The Hangover, who is just, what's his role in The Hangover? He's just a wacky and constantly high Asian man. That's the joke they go for. And I say Asian man not because he's Asian, because that's part of the joke. At least in this movie.
They play him as the stereotypical Asian man.
Yeah, in this movie, they make it even worse. Let's just leave it at that.
Props to The Hangover. Him leaping naked out of the trunk is an amazing gag.
Yeah, doesn't he, like, kick somebody in the balls and then run off nude into the desert?
Yeah, he just leaps out of the trunk in the dust and, like, beats the shit out of them with, like, a tire iron and then runs off.
I like Ken Jeong. I mean... I watched Community last year, and it was fine, but Ken Jeong was pretty good. He's entertaining, so...
that was the start of his career. He didn't have much going before the Hunger Games. That sort of launched him.
Yeah. He's kind of... What's he done lately?
I think he's a host on, like, America's Got Talent.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's him and Robin Thicke. There's a whole thing with them and Rudy Giuliani, and I hate this country.
Jesus.
Yep. I'm sad. I'm a sad man.
Yeah. We said earlier, Ed's mouth tastes like shit and Bradley's ass hurts, and you said, he just ate his ass?
Right.
No, they were a human centipede with this Asian guy.
Oh, but temporarily a human centipede?
Yes.
So who unstitched them?
Isaac, let me follow that up. Let me answer your question with a question. Who cares?
I care. If you're going to bother to stitch up some people for torture,
listen,
you leave them stitched.
In the time that you said that you care, this movie is already on to its next pop culture reference.
I am just upset.
You know me. I will fucking sit here and bitch about the way a character says a word that upsets me because I'm a little baby who shits his pants and doesn't like when things aren't perfect. But giving that level of thought to this is genuinely a waste of your precious, precious time.
No, the thought of getting unstitched from a human centipede situation, I need an explanation. Who did the unstitching?
His exit joke is that he has to go human centipede with the Olsen twins, and that they've done it before.
What? You just do it willingly? Without the stitching? Larry, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just here for 2 minutes of human centipede jokes, and then it ends.
Also, Mary-Kate Olsen killed Heath Ledger.
What?
Maybe the other one. I don't really remember which one.
What?
Yeah, she probably gave him the drugs that killed him.
Oh, he overdosed? I didn't know how he died.
Yeah, he OD'd. And okay. He was dating or like friends with one of the Olsen twins, and it was like an awkward situation.
Oh, so like Andy Dick, Phil Hartman, that sort of thing?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right.
It's not proved, but like there's a grudge.
Okay, sure. Fucking celebrities, who cares? The two of so Ed and Brad climb a tree to hide from the career group, which is the group of the toughest villains. In the distance, I just want to point out, you can't hear it, I almost just threw up violently.
I could tell from your face.
I almost threw up and destroyed this microphone, which is almost brand new, and this laptop. It was not good. And I just found out there's no barbecue.
You poor baby. Larry.
Oh God! All right,
Just buy some chicken nuggets and barbecue sauce on the way. You'll be good.
I may need to do that. So yeah, fucking. What was I saying? I don't even care. All right, so these two are in a tree. They see the three depths around a fire. Tonto, Jack Sparrow, and a sexual deviant,
right.
Willy Wonka. He comes in the chocolate. They talk for a minute about very unfunny depth stuff before Tonto calls over all the career villains who murder the other two depths. Willy Wonka asks for the gorgeous and also topless Sophie D to stick the trident in his chocolate factory, but instead she rams it through the back of his neck. And of course, they're dildos. Brief cutaway to the TV, like the news coverage with Caitlyn Jenner and the confusingly over-the-top stereotypical black man. Before we get back to the action, the careers decide to sleep the night right beneath the tree that Brad and Ed are in. We see the careers are now joined by Zach, who has a whole bit about Applebee's that I'm also choosing to ignore. He does ask Sophie D and Caden Cross, who have sex for a living, if they would like to go with him to an Applebee's, and of course they're topless in that scene. And they say, "Oh, we don't fit the dress code." And he then, for some reason, despite starting with Applebee's, he says, "It's a Chili's. You'll fit right in." I don't know, but they were naked.
Don't understand.
They were nude. I enjoyed that.
Boobies or boobies or boobies.
Oh, funny how when it's not you seeing them, your tune turns to, oh yes, well, breasts, they're fine if you can get them, but any other time, it's
no. I support your enjoyment of the boobies.
I hate the show.
I wish we could be sitting on a couch together, awkwardly both watching the boobies and unable to touch ourselves because of homophobia.
It's not homophobia. I don't want to jack off next to my friend.
Did
It's
I
nothing
ever
to do
tell
with
you?
you being a dude. It's just I want to jack off next to you.
When I was a teenager in high school, some friend of mine pulled me over to his house and put porn on the TV. It was me and a couple of guys sitting on the couch, and he just put up porn on his 50-inch flat screen. And we all just kind of sat there awkwardly watching it, not jerking off.
I think that has happened to every young group of friends. Because I'd happened to me, too. I'm pretty sure...
It was a bad experience. I did not like it. I like my orgasms to be private or with one lady.
One time I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and it was a couple of us. And we were in his room. He was playing Diablo 2 or something. I don't know. And he was just pointing out all the white stains on the floor. He's like, "Oh yeah, I come in here to jerk off," and there's just cum all over the floor.
What the fuck?
And I was just this is the first time I've been hanging out at this dude's house. I'm just sitting there I wasn't horrified. I was just well, I'm never coming back here. So I guess
God,
that's that.
I think as much as this country preaches recycling, we need to preach recycling of cum and how to properly dispose of cum.
Yeah, don't just into the carpet. I mean, his mom went in that room.
Yeah, and you can't just leave it in a sock over and over and over again and leave it unwashed.
That was the family computer room.
It's awful. Your cum needs to go in a disposable receptacle.
I wonder what happened to him.
God damn it.
I kind of lost touch with everybody from that part of my life because it was a very unhappy part of my life.
Write in and tell us what you do with your cum.
And also, seriously, that Bang Bang Betty limerick, I really need to know it.
If we approve or don't approve of your cum disposal methods, we will write back and let you know. Because we have standards here on the Bowels of Movie.
Yeah, sure. Wow,
You have standards. Tell me you have standards.
Fucked to the tits.
Where does your cum go, Larry?
I mean, that's a gentleman never tells.
Okay, fair enough. But not into your carpet and not into unwashed socks.
Fucking carpet. I live here.
I know, right? Okay, just as long as I
live here. I'm not an animal.
As long as
I
we
don't
have the
shit
same
on the floor either.
The
Jesus.
same level of decorum for a cum disposal.
This is remember last week we were talking about me sitting on the couch next to my grandma and I'm going to tell her about my day every day?
Yeah.
It really should be just a thing.
Well, now with the whole incest conversation.
Okay, well, anyway, so fucking Zach's asking about Applebee's and he wanders off, and the other careers talk about murdering him, but they decide to keep him alive to track down Brad and Ed. Everybody goes to sleep, and the next morning, Brad and Ed see Boo, the foul-mouthed girl, is in a tree next to them. Mirroring the original Hunger Games movie, Shut the Fuck Up, Boo encourages the two of them to cut a branch nearby that contains a beehive. The bees in this case are called swagger jackers, and what they do, Isaac, is they jack your
off
swagger.
Jack Swagger?
No, thankfully Jack Swagger is nowhere in this picture. For those of you who don't know, Jack Swagger, I believe he performs under his real name now, Jake Hager.
Fuck.
He was in WWE.
He's like 90 years old now, right?
Yeah, he's 90. He was in WWE as Jack Swagger, and I think he was a mildly decent talent. I mean, I hate myself and I'm bad at everything, but I mean, as far as wrestling goes, he was a decent talent, and I think
I was not a fan.
His career has gone off much farther. Isaac, I think, hated him more than any human being in existence and frequently said he has the type of skeleton that belongs in a museum. The Mutter Museum.
He was shaped wrong. God shaped him wrong.
Every time Jack Swagger was on screen, you just became upset. It was fascinating. Just looking at him made you upset. And you are usually a very well put together man. And you just could not stand anything about him, and it was incredible.
No. You know what Jack Swagger is? It's the PT Cruiser.
Yes, that's very apt.
It is a wrong-shaped item.
Jack Swagger, Jake Hager, he has a very odd-shaped skeleton.
Yes, and exactly the PT Cruiser, what are you trying to be? Yeah. A car, a truck, an SUV? You're not doing any of this right.
Oh, God.
You're failing universally.
The all-American. Oh, God.
No.
So, yeah, the bees are called swagger jackers because what they jack your swagger. Which, guess what? Despite the next several minutes dealing with swagger jacker stings, nobody fucking changes their attitude or who they are or how they act. So, fucking, what's the point? I am glad they included this scene, though, so I can tell you this dumb story. My best friend and I went and saw this in theaters for some reason. I don't remember because it's not really, up either of our alleys. But we ended up watching it in theaters. And in the real movie, The Hunger Games, Katniss is in a tree, and Rue is in the tree next to her, and there's the same setup. The career players are underneath her. And Rue, who doesn't speak much, she makes this vigorous motion like this above where the beehive would be. And I don't remember which one of us said it, but one of us leaned to the other between my best friend and I and said, choppa, choppa, droppa, droppa. And it's not funny, but it's fucking 10 years later, and we still occasionally say that.
Yeah, in that very precise context, that is hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know why, but it's just one of those things that stuck with us. All right, so fucking Ed and Brad drop this beehive on the careers and they all run away, except for Zach, who has no swagger to Jack, and he is basically ignored by the bees. For some reason, this doesn't cause them all to reunite. I don't know why. Anyway, Ed and Brad fall back asleep due to bee stings. Ed has a dream, and this is where shit starts to really go off the fucking rails for how terribly bad this movie is going to make me feel by the end of it. In his dream, he and Catnip are facing each other in front of a shitty purple space green screen effect. And it's clearly like a sexy seduction dream. And at one point, Catnip says, "I'm almost 17. And Ed says, "What?" And she says, "Nothing." Isaac, that's going to get real bad. Isaac, it's going to get real bad.
I approve of respecting the legal age of consent.
It's going to get real bad.
Oh, no.
She tells him she has something to show him and unzips her jacket to reveal her breasts, though instead of her breasts, it's two of Zach's faces, both of whom are talking to him while Catnip sort of nods along with her breast conversation.
God,
it's horrifying. It's horrifying. Now, I want to point out right now, right here and right now, the actress playing Catnip, Rita Volk, is only 3 months older than I am. So at the time this movie was filmed, she was probably 22 or 23.
Okay.
So this is
of legal tender.
age. I cannot stand when you call women legal tender, because do you not understand that, like, Reddit is a thing and people talk. People remember. It's not a nice thing to say, Isaac. So this is an of-age actress. Please remember that when I'm very upset at the end of this movie. By the way, we're at page 4 of 8 now.
Oh, God.
The two idiots wake up from their nap, and Zach is there, having dragged them into a cave for safety. They confront him about being with the career gang, but he says he was just peer pressured into it. And after a few back and forth lines of nonsense and a visual gag involving something called Kanye West extract, very funny, the Desperate Housewives arrive. We get, like, a bunch of very quick and very compressed Desperate Housewives gags in short order, including one of them who divorced her husband and got half of everything, which includes one of his testicles. This would probably be more interesting if I knew literally anything about the Desperate Housewives, other than they like to drink, I guess. This goes on. Eventually, Carrie shows up and just sets all the girls on fire. Then the boys run away. We get a brief scene here where Weird Beard guy he's like the guy running the show, meets with the president. And in the Hunger Games, the president's name is President Snow. So in the Hungover Games, the president's name is President Snowbama.
Oh,
that's the joke.
That's the worst joke I might have ever heard.
Snowbama says that people care about the Hungover boys too much, and that needs to stop so that Hollywood can keep pumping out bad sequels and bad parodies without the populace revolting. Do you get it, Isaac? Do you get it? Do you get the joke? Because it's a bad parody, and they're making a joke about it being a bad parody. Do you get it, Isaac?
I feel like the filmmakers are clever.
I wish if I had a fart button, I'd have pressed it right there.
I'm looking at the brain. It's on my desk.
I am genuinely so proud of you.
I'm not going to touch it.
I can't believe it. And by the way, this Barack Obama impersonator, no good. You need a man to play Barack Obama called Demorge Brown. He's a small-time actor, man of refinement, man of class, deserves way more attention than he's ever gotten.
Call fucking Jordan Peele.
No, call Demorge Brown. Jordan Peele has plenty of money. Call Demorge Brown.
I'm just saying Jordan Peele's Obama impression.
Jordan Peele is a household name. I'm trying to say a name of a small-time actor who needs more work.
Okay, fair. They both do good impressions, I'm sure.
I've never.
If you're
I've
hiring
never
Obama impressions,
I've never seen Jordan Peele's Obama. Actually,
have you not seen Key and Peele?
No.
You monster!
I've heard it's very funny. It's just like it's one of those things I found out about by the time it was basically over, and then it's on my list of things I'll get to before I'm dead.
No. It's the best sketch show you will ever see.
I don't love sketch shows like that.
Yeah,
I've seen clips of it, and the clips are very funny. But it's just like I have to be in the right mood to watch them, and I am very rarely in that mood.
I'm a huge fan of sketch shows.
I know,
and I've adored tons of them. And honestly, Key and Peele is probably far and away the best.
I will watch it one day. It's just like
do it soon.
Trying to force myself to watch.
So worried.
Like, comedy.
I'm so worried I'm gonna kill you before you get the chance to watch it.
Isaac, you better hope the first bullet fucking takes me down. I am not that's
the plan.
I am not a particularly strong man. I am not the world's most
your
cunning
skull
man.
Is very thick.
But my determination for revenge will burn the planet to its core if I have to.
Trust me, it's going to be a hollow point right to the back of the head.
That's very wise. Okay. So while they're wandering around through the forest, Ed starts freaking out because they're in a wacky situation. Zach reveals that it's his fault they ended. I realized that I missed a couple of lines in the beginning of them at the Chief Loose Slots casino, where Zach was like showing off this giant bag of drugs, and there's a bunch of gags of just all drugs, and Ed throws them out the window. But one of the things that Zach had, I actually missed a lot. I'm realizing. Okay, at the beginning of the movie, they're like, Zach is saying, I got all these drugs, I got this Colombian cocaine, I got this smuggled up an ass bottle of pills, and blah, blah, he's got all this shit, and also air fresheners, which he plugs in. But Ed throws him out the window, and Zach's like, why did you throw all my drugs out the window? And Ed is like, every time we go hang out, we get in a hangover situation. And then he describes the prior movies in the franchise. So... in this version of the Hangover game, fuck me, in this version of whatever, the other movies have happened, and this is like their fourth adventure.
That
somehow makes it worse, doesn't it?
I know. I just why would
Instead
you
of
do
just
that?
being a parody of The Hangover, The Hangover exists and they've experienced it thrice.
But it's also so clearly whatever different characters. Whatever. Okay, I can't. I don't have the strength. I don't have the bandwidth.
See what I mean?
No.
You see what I mean? This is why I'm not losing my mind about it.
Can you cover
because
Caden Cross's boobies again?
Isaac, they're gonna come up again.
Okay, how nice are they? Are they really nice?
They're pretty lovely. So anyway, Zach confesses that the air fresheners he put in the wall were midnight berry scented, and apparently these berries are from the movie, the books of the movie, The Hunger Games. Don't ask. It's not worth it. Just don't bother.
Wait, Hunger Games? What?
Not that. Not even that. Don't ask why he was reading. He had an air freshener of a.
Oh God, Larry is actually retching right now. Oh my God, what happened? Are you okay?
That was almost it. That was almost me vomiting live.
Jesus,
it's almost
gonna happen one day. Yeah. Do you have?
I have brought it up in the past of it almost happening. I have not brought it up every time it's almost happened. That was the closest it's ever been to me vomiting in the middle of recording.
Do you have a spittle bowl?
No.
You should.
And by the way, just so you're aware, if I ever vomit on the show, we will cut out the sound of me vomiting. As a man who is learning that he has misophonia and cannot become genuinely enraged at the sound of chewing into a microphone, I will not subject people to the sound of me vomiting into a microphone.
As Isaac, I edits this podcast, I make no promises.
Isaac,
I'm looking around for anything to chew, and I don't have anything.
No, it's like a medical condition. It enrages me.
Like a real phobia.
It's real
that bad.
The older I get, the worse it gets.
That's interesting.
It's like it's. I imagine it is the feeling a bull gets when it sees red. It is like an instinctual, I have to stop this noise, and I don't care what I have to do to stop it. It's really weird. I've been looking it up because I emailed a podcast. I felt bad about it afterwards. I emailed a podcast I liked that was like, I really like your guys' podcast, but can you stop eating into the microphone because it's like putting a knife into my brain? And
no. No podcast worth their salt should be eating while they're fucking recording.
Right.
That's numero uno rule.
It's just, it's something I'm looking into more recently because I'm realizing that my reactions are becoming visceral.
Yeah.
Not comedy visceral, I pull the headphones out of my head and occasionally throw them. It's a problem.
I don't enjoy that sound, but yeah, I don't have that visceral reaction. It's more
getting
annoyance.
Bad. It's getting bad.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But for anyone who records content, don't record yourself chewing.
No, just don't do it.
I feel like that doesn't need to be said, but apparently it does.
If I vomit into the microphone, we will cut it out. If Isaac wants to fucking put the vomit track somewhere...
I was going to fake chewing sounds, and now I'm not going to because I respect you and I love you.
I appreciate that.
And I'm really holding back extra right now because I really want to double down on this, but I'm not going to.
Fucking, all right. Anyway, I don't know why they had these fake berries in the real world, air quotes, whatever. Who gives a fuck? But apparently the scent of these berries can cause death. But instead, Ed reads on the label of the air freshener which Zach just had in his pocket, I guess. The label says, warning, may cause transportation to futuristic dystopia. That's the only explanation we ever get as to why they're here.
I hate that joke.
Except for the ending.
I hate that joke so bad.
Oh, it's... Isaac, it's real bad. So, yeah, I can only even be so mad about this fakey fake, unquote, funny argument they then have after it because no one cared. It just truly... I never meant it as hard as I meant it now. No one cared about this at all. So I don't either. As everybody leaves, they tell Zach, Ed and Brad tell Zach to fuck off and go his own way and abandon him. As everybody leaves, we see a nude woman who had been painted like a bark. We saw her briefly before, in the foreground, but she'd been painted like bark, standing up next to a tree. Step out from a nearby tree and squeeze her nipple, which she apparently uses as a walkie-talkie, to report back to headquarters. Okay. She then turns around to leave, and we see that she is in fact totally nude and unpainted on the back, and naked ladies are pretty fun.
I won't disagree.
And speaking of, we see that while Zach is pissing against a tree in a nearby hot tub that's there, pornographic actresses Caitlyn Cross and Sophie D are rubbing one another and pressing their breasts together and making out, trying to entice Zach into the hot tub. I enjoyed this scene. We see, however, that he is looking behind the two gorgeous women who have their breasts exposed to the camera, Isaac. I just want to make sure you know that. To see another topless woman, painted blue from the Avatar franchise. There are currently 3 topless women on the screen that you are forcing me to look at, Isaac.
I'm so sorry, Larry. I know that you're asexual, and I apologize.
Isaac, you know what? I'm going to give you a pass on that one. I think this is okay.
God damn it.
So and while he's looking at it, his piss stream is like getting more and more ridiculous, it's mildly funny, but at this point I was so like checked out on any humor.
So you piss harder when you're aroused?
No, it's just like because it's like it's like every shot when it's cutting to Caitlyn Cross and Sophie D who are doing all kinds of touching. Then he's like doing the Avatar woman is like doing this ridiculous dance that everybody who mocks Avatar does. I saw Avatar in theaters once in the front row. It was a terrible experience. I was very cold. And I don't remember the movie being good, but everybody seems to have this really fond memory of it, even though it was just Pocahontas in space. But I guess James Cameron did it.
5 out of 10. It was fine. I don't remember anything about it.
Do not remember a single plot point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Except that there was a guy in a mech suit and the main character was in a wheelchair.
I don't remember the main character was in a wheelchair.
He was in a wheelchair because that was the only thing. He was good at being
he got
an
free
Avatar
when he could get into the into the other body.
People remember that movie. Like my stepfather's mom gushes about that movie sometimes when I see her, and I'm like, it was just Pocahontas in space, right? Like, did not everybody get that?
Nothing bad and nothing good to say. Like, really, just a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, that's about how I feel. But anyway, anytime.
Good. Anyway.
Anytime anybody does like a parody of Avatar, they always have them doing like ridiculously exaggerated movements. So that probably was in the movie. I just don't know. Anyway, that's right. While we're like seeing her and seeing Caden and Sophie, like it's cutting closer and closer on his face, and like we see the piss stream is like it's pointing up, and it becomes a mist at one point, and then it's like starting to zigzag around. Like it's a decent sight gag, but at this point, I'm so checked out on knowing I'm not going to laugh at anything that I was like, I couldn't enjoy it. So anyway, we get a brief cut, and Zach has gotten into the hot tub with mostly nude Sophie D and Caitlyn Cross as the topless Avatar woman rubs his shoulders. This actress is named Anya, A-N-I-A. I'm going to say Anya. Anya Spearing. And this is probably the only thing she'll ever be known for, I'm sorry to say. She had about like 8 acting roles, and of course in one they made her topless. So she gets to be remembered as Avatar Woman, who rubs fake Zach Galifianakis' shoulders and gets shot in the head. Zach asks Sophie and Caden to give him and Avatar Anya some privacy, who get up out of the water. And Isaac, I need to stress this. These women do not have anything covering their breasts.
I was hoping you were going to say differently, because exposed breasts are just repulsive.
Okay. Well, yeah, and then they leave. They proceed to sick... Oh, yeah. Okay. They proceed to sick Tonto, and again, for some reason I don't understand, very stereotypically gay Thor onto Zach and Avatar Anya. Was there like a gay Thor thing? They commit to the joke because Thor is in a lot of scenes that I've just been ignoring. Was that a thing? Or are they just trying to make it a joke? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't...
They really lean into that one.
Is there a Thor gay thing?
That's what I'm asking. I don't know. I
don't know. I haven't heard of it.
He's a very handsome man.
He's what? Chris Hemsworth?
Yes.
Is Thor? Yeah. Yeah, you know, I'd lick some peanut butter off of his dick if I was a dog, but, you know, just saying.
You have such a way with words, and you just squander your talent.
Yeah, that's my whole life. Man, I got a letter from my aunt about my Christmas card that I sent out.
Oh, the Christmas letter? What was wrong with it?
Did you see the secret message?
I don't remember. Maybe.
We do a secret message every year. It's the first letter of every paragraph.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Well, I decided to do Hail Satan this year. And My aunt is very religious. She like converted from like Lutheranism to Catholicism.
Oh my God.
And she sent me a letter very upset about all of my choices in my life.
Did you send back another letter that was longer and just had the secret message was really Hail Satan?
Well, no, the message she sent me had a secret message in it. Was like, you should be ashamed of yourself, grow up. Which is a comically long
Oh my God.
secret message. So we're me and my wife are debating about how to respond. Or if we should respond.
Wait, are you serious? That was the secretly...
Yes. You should be ashamed of yourself, grow up.
Oh my God.
Her letter was really awkward because there was like 20 paragraphs.
That's the... Isaac, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and we record the bowels of movie night.
I didn't say my aunt was a smart woman.
Clearly,
She's a spiritual woman.
I hate the human race.
I do too.
God's sake.
So yeah, we'll decide how to respond to her. But anyway,
yeah, I want an update on that one.
Yeah, well, if we come up with a plan, we'll go there. We probably aren't going to respond because it's not. It wouldn't,
clearly not worth it.
It wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't affect any change on the world.
No,
better to just ignore it.
Nope. I'd triple down, but I'm a bad person.
I wrote a letter of catharsis, which is filled with a lot of vulgarity, but I will not send it.
Yeah. What are you supposed to grow up and do? Fucking become president? Shut up. You fucking aunt sucks.
I don't know. Grow up and be a Christian? Ugh, I guess.
All right.
Whatever.
Fucking, yeah, Caden Cross and Sophie are topless. They
boobies.
proceed to sick Tonto.
Hey,
and
Jean, I like boobies.
He does. I've seen him like them. I've seen him do it.
I love them. I'll motorboat you, Aunt Jean. Just bring
Isaac,
them down.
if your aunt listened to the show, you'd have heard about it by now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So yeah,
Aunt Jean, if you're listening, come on down. I'll motorboat you.
That's going to be a long return letter.
Oh boy. Oh, I can't imagine.
Tonto shoots Anya and proceeds to scalp her because blue scalps are the rarest of scalps and because he's Native American. That's what they fucking do, right? That's really funny, Isaac.
Blue?
Don't you see their fucking grand vision when the face of God shone down on them in the moonlight as they stood on the precipice of greatness and asked, "Dear God of writing, please fill me with your seed." And this is what God told them to do, so they did a scalping joke.
I'm very proud of you for sitting on that on that bit while I told my stupid aunt's Christmas letter story. Oh my God.
Anyway.
Is this your favorite movie?
Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10.
Oh, 10 out of, okay, good. Yeah.
Anyway, Tonto and Thor are about to kill Zack, but Catnip and Boo show up and shoot a bunch of arrows, scaring them off. Unfortunately, the worst thing that could possibly happen does happen, as off-screen we see that the arrows have accidentally killed poor Sophie D and Caden Cross.
Oh no!
Isaac, this is a bummer because I don't know if I brought this up or not, but they had their titties out the entire time.
I know. Did they get shot in the titties?
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're not entirely in the titties, but they do get shot.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I'm always sad when a titty goes bye-bye.
Yeah, okay. You made it weird by making it a baby talk. Zach mourns...
my titty goes
I am talking over you. Zach mourns over the dead body of Avatar Anya and proceeds to squeeze and suckle the tits of her corpse like a real fucking maniac. We see in the command center Weird Beard is upset they are having trouble with the power since Zach spilled bubble tea all over the console, so he calls for IT. The Ken Jeong stand-in is the IT guy because he's Asian and he knows computers. That's almost a direct quote from the movie, folks. That's all this was for, to make an Asian and computers joke. There's
Working in IT, I can confirm.
Yeah. There's a quick scene here with a guy I didn't mention earlier who was doing heroin, and he tells Weird Beard to have the boys come together for a bromance so they can murder him all together or something. I don't know or care anymore. Just read the Hunger Games. Better yet, read the Japanese formerly banned novel Battle Royale, which is the almost identical concept, but much, much better. It's very influential in Japan. I think it was like, for a while, the most banned book there ever was.
Or read The Long Walk by Richard Bachman.
Or The Wrong One by Richard Bachman, sure. But Battle Royale is very good. It is almost an identical concept of the Hunger Games. And there was a movie that was also it was not as good, but it was still pretty good. But it had Takeshi Kano in it, who is quite possibly the most interesting human being who has ever lived. You should look him up.
Was that like the Japanese version of Tupac?
No. he kind of has done everything.
Okay.
I kind of want to talk. I
don't know this person at all.
I want to stop and talk about Takeshi's Castle for the rest of my life, but there's not enough time because this is going on way too long. We may do a side episode just so I can talk about Takeshi Kanno, because the more I learn about him,
I approve.
I think he's genuinely the most interesting human being that ever lived. He is like an actor, writer, director, video game designer, singer, songwriter. He's like genuinely done everything.
Yeah. I feel like that could be a dual episode with the fact that Tupac's first film credit was in the Dan Aykroyd movie Nothing But Trouble.
Nothing But Trouble, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like we should just touch base on all of that nonsense in one episode.
Yeah. Takeshi Kanno was probably most known for a show called Takeshi's Castle, which is like the proto version of like Wipeout, but it's incredibly Japanese. And it was also,
I'm intrigued.
I guess we're talking about Takeshi's Castle for a minute. I'm learning there was a show called MXC, was this American version where they like bastardized the footage and made their own show about it. But it's basically they just took the footage from that. But the show Takeshi's Castle was so popular in Japan, and it was impossibly difficult to win, to the point where when I looked up a video of someone winning, the first comment was, "Fun fact: there have been more people on the moon that have watched Takeshi's Takeshi's Castle."
That's amazing.
Yeah. And we're gonna do a side episode talking about it, because I'm learning. I found a little weird hole of Japanese game shows, and the joke is that they're insane. They're genuinely insane. It's not a joke.
Yeah, no. I have seen some clips, man.
It is,
but we should go down that
bonkers.
rabbit hole. I fully approve.
Yeah, we're gonna look into Japanese games just for a side thing.
Definitely.
I was Sophie D and Caden Cross were dead, so I was desperate to look at anything other than the screen that didn't have them on it at this point.
Right.
So I fell in a rabbit hole.
Any more boobies? Let's finish this up.
Isaac,
I'm limp now.
Isaac, there's more boobies. It's not good.
Like I said, I'm limp now. I'm
it's
done.
It's not good is the problem. All right, so anyway, back to this fucking garbage pile. Weird Beard announces that multiple victors can be crowned only if the guys work together and have a long-standing bromance. They try to immediately reconnect with Zach despite kicking him out of the group literally 3 minutes of screen time before. Brad and Ed remember the talking bird from before that had the loud voice that's a reference to the books. They do a whistle to summon it, and eventually the shitty bird puppet lands on Brad's shoulder. It tells him that Zach is with Catnip about a mile away. Ed asks how it knows, and we do get the only decent line of the entire movie. Unfortunately, it requires me to do the voice, which is a very scratchy voice, but I'm going to try it anyway, because the delivery and the voice and the line is very funny. They ask him, where, how did you know that Zach's there? And he says, "A little birdie told me, and by little birdie, I mean a chickadee who gave me a beak job." And something about the words beak job really got me in that moment.
I mean, that's not good.
No, but
I get why you were tickled.
Yeah, the voice, that voice,
bad,
and I didn't do a great job. That voice doing the words "beak job" was funny to me in that minute, and that's it. That's the pinnacle of the film that made me laugh, or even chuckle, or crack a smile.
Jesus. Are you gonna do that sing-songy thing as you just like shoot people down in the street with a machine gun?
That's the plan. Anyway, they head off with the bird hanging on and telling them terrible stories, and eventually reconnect with Zach, who tells them Catnip is nearby. For some reason, she's over like in a field practicing with her bow while topless, though we only see her from behind. What is happening? I hear things on your side of the woods.
I dropped something.
Okay, all right. I thought you were... I don't have your camera pulled up.
I'm masturbating,
okay.
And then I accidentally knocked over some things.
Did you just come so hard? Never mind, I don't want to...
No, I haven't come yet.
I don't want to upset your aunt by talking about your cum.
I'm waiting to the end of the episode like usual. I always wait to the end to come.
All right. He is creepily watching her from the bushes, and Boo, the vulgar little girl, calls him out for standing there. Catnip is happy to see him and hugs Ed. She puts her clothes back on. But he has a massive boner. He tries to tell her it's a respect boner.
What? I'm not familiar with this term, but I would like to be. Clarify.
Isaac, let's just hang on. She tells him, I'm 17, right? And he puts his fingers in his ears and says, "La, la, 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 I can't hear you."
Okay.
Well, we'll get to that later. And
but what is a respect boner?
Considering that
is that
he
like
has
the boner
a boner
I have for Queen
a
Elizabeth?
child. I'm going
No.
to. Yeah,
no,
yes,
like-
yes. A boner for Queen Elizabeth is absolutely respect boner. I want to ignore your bit, but it's too perfect. I can't. Damn it! You got it. You nailed. You got it in one.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
got it
I
in
would
one,
I
baby.
would dick down the queen in an instant, even though I'm not remotely attracted
It's
to her
respect.
physically.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wow.
But it's definitely it's a straight up respect boner.
You don't
Yeah.
usually nail it in one, but
Yeah.
fucking hell, that is out of
All
the
right.
park.
Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, come at me. Respect boner.
All right, the boys all figure out that somehow Boo was the last one to see the groom they've been looking for this whole time. Catnip convinces her to tell them, but suddenly Thor arrives and uses his magic hammer to beat Boo to death before she can tell them. Ed finds a slingshot on the ground. It's just there. Never been a slingshot in the movie before. He's like, oh, a slingshot. Picks it up, shoots it at right in Thor's throat, which kills him instantly.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yep. Ed and Catnip try to revive Boo, but she dies. Much like in the original Hunger Games movies, shut up, Isaac, they decide to salute her at that moment.
Hunger Games.
Instead of whatever the Hunger Games salute was, they instead do the shocker. 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
One of the stink.
And
yeah.
we got the shots of like people in the weird fenced-in motel, and everybody's doing the shocker as respect for Boo's dad. Okay. Because the shocker is fucking rad and cool, and I like fingering buttholes because I'm a man who likes to fucking fight and fart and all sorts of rad sex stuff. I want to die, and I want you to be the one to do it, Isaac.
I was done finding the shocker funny over a decade ago.
I don't think I ever found it funny.
Oh, it was funny at a time. There was a spell.
Okay. So they're wandering through the woods. Shortly after this, Zach tells the boys that maybe they should all bukkake Boo's corpse. So this is just a great fucking flick. And then he asks which one is the pink and which one is the stink. Okay.
Well,
Weird beard come.
Dealer's
Just
choice.
don't. Just don't. Just shut up. Just stop it. Just stop it, man. Just stop. The weird beard comes over the intercom and tells them there's new weapons at the pornocopia. The guys in Catnip decide to head over there and check it out. They see an item they're like have labeled items. The item for them is a cell phone that, according to the sign, is capable of interdimensional phone calls. Catnip points out a bunch of landmines around the way and tells the boys to go get the phone while she heads off to kill Tonto. She gives Ed a friendly dick outside of the pants rub, and he leaves and chases her down and offers to go with to protect her, but she says they would just fuck it up, telling Ed she really loves him. I hate this. The 2 other guys berate him for attempting to go after a 17-year-old, and again, just sit tight, we will be getting to that. The 3 guys run down and grab the phone, but they are met by Stephen King's Carrie there too. She telepaths a bunch of knives and axes at Ed that land around him like knives do in every movie. They like do an outline of him.
sure.
And then, well, she's like standing on a thing. I don't even know what it is. Zach, however, grabs Carrie by the legs, picks her up by the ankles, and proceeds to smash her against the ground. And I'm pretty sure this is the same straw and hay puppet they used for the one in Breach.
Oh, no.
It's that bad. It's glaringly obvious. And then Zach
God.
leg drops her to death like Hulk Hogan. Shortly thereafter, they are then accosted by anthropomorphic Ted and a knockoff Miss Piggy and Kermit. The Miss Piggy and Kermit puppets are actually puppet-sized, and Kermit starts talking, and again, I haven't seen The Hangover in literally fucking 14 years now? Whenever it was...
Great flick.
13 years, I guess.
whatever.
13.
Math.
And apparently, this Kermit gives the Mike Tyson rant that Mike Tyson gave in that movie.
Yeah.
I guess it's a funny callback. The 2 regular-sized puppets attack Brad and Zach. They throw them off, and then Zach pulls out his Hunger Games book and throws it at them, which causes the 2 puppets to explode. Originally, this was the part where I totally broke and thought, well, fuck it, I'm just not going to write any more review. But then the second time I was watching it, I realized, he threw it on one of the landmines that Catnip mentioned a minute ago.
Oh, see, it's a cohesive story.
I am going to slit your throat and fuck the neck hole.
I wouldn't want to die any other way.
Which is equally as dumb, but it's marginally better than the book just exploding magically. Meanwhile, Ted is beating the shit out of Ed with a baseball bat and is about to kill him before Catnip returns and shoots Ted in the dick with an arrow, killing him. Apparently, Catnip killed Tonto off screen, so that's a thing. And he actually is just gone from the movie. But she is near death from the fight and has a tender moment with Ed. I'm just gonna go through this real quick. So Catnip is dying, and Ed is like standing. He's like over her, like kind of like, "Oh no, Catnip, don't die." And then she's like, and they've been like flirting this whole movie. And as you recall, she's almost 17. That's important.
Almost.
And then she's like, "Well, now that I'm gonna die, do you want to see him?" And he's like, "See what?" And she's like, "Oh, boobs." And then he's like, well, yeah, okay. And then the actress exposes her breasts. Here's the problem, Isaac.
Yeah.
Contextually, this character is 16 years old. So now I'm part of it. You've made me part of it. Because this woman's breasts are being exposed for the audience to look at and say, fuck yeah, tits. I've been saying it the whole movie because I've had nothing else, and because Caden Cross and Sophie D are gorgeous women, and they love their work, and that's great. Now you've made me a part of this whole underage joke. Just go fuck you.
But, like...
It's bad enough. It's bad enough.
Like,
go ahead.
How satisfactory, or what kind of satisfaction do you get from just seeing boobies and then end of story?
Are you asking me that, or is that a general question?
A general question. I mean, the goal is, like, see some boobies, have some sexy time.
Okay. Look,
with a woman of legal age.
All right. We make a ton of jokes in the show, and we have these fucking weird characters where we're regular people. I enjoyed the breasts of the women in this movie. I had no point that I get an erection. That's not how my brain works. It's just it's naked women in a movie. That's great. Yeah, I enjoy watching the naked women touch each other. I don't get erections
unless I'm on ketamine.
I'm being serious. That doesn't make me hard. It doesn't make me horny. Like it's just a thing. So yeah, this woman, Rita Volk, she has lovely breasts. However, in the context of this fucking movie, she's meant to be 16, and this is meant to be a reward for this guy while she's dying. It's just very uncomfortable, and I don't like being a part of it.
The main point is I really don't understand the I'm dying, let me expose my breasts so you can see them just before I die?
Well, yeah, Isaac, the movie, you're doing it again. You're doing what you should be doing for the Bowels of Movie Night, but this is not a movie. It's a collection of pop culture with tits.
Yeah, okay.
It's a YouTube video.
So you're describing the inside of my brain.
Yes. Yes. Genuinely, yes. But, there's... Of course that doesn't make any sense. Of course it's horrible. Again, 16, this is a child, legally, with exposing her breast to a man.
In the story, why not just make her 18? How hard would that be?
Because it's funny that she's underage, Isaac.
That's the thing that gets
Isaac,
me.
That's the joke.
See, that's no good. If they're real of age, blossomed boobies,
yes,
and we could see those boobies, and if the story would just let us labor under the delusion that there are boobies that have flowered, then everything would be fine. But the movie doesn't do that.
Jokes aside, I'm not saying I want an excuse to look at this woman's tits and be okay with it. I'm saying, why are you doing this?
Yes, honestly, yeah, it is. Yes, it's uncomfortable.
Why have you set up this premise where now there's a topless woman on screen, and I feel uncomfortable that there's a topless woman on screen? Again, it's not about seeing her naked.
She's
it's
underage?
About why is this happening to everyone, to
the actress,
the characters
is not
in the audience?
Why does the fiction need to be that she's underage?
Right.
And honestly, it's weird, creepy, fucking pedophilic jerk-off culture.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
So, and that honestly is repulsive and
truly.
Yes.
And
so jokes aside, skeeved out, very skeeved out.
There's a follow-up, the perfect follow-up joke to encapsulate how awful all of this is at the end of this. We'll get to it shortly. So we get back to the opening scene of the movie where Brad is calling the fiance of the groom. Oh, I'm sorry. First, there's a Taken gag where he dials the wrong number and calls somebody who gives the Taken rant. Fucking pop culture. Because you know what's funny?
God.
The same thing from a different movie that's totally unchanged. Totally unchanged. It's just the same thing.
That's hilarious, yeah.
Yeah, that's if you make a reference, Isaac. Hey, Isaac, welcome to Larry's Writing Corner, where I teach you how to fucking write. It's with what's Dan Harmon's thing? It's like home by 5 entertainment. You can be home by 5 and not have to work hard. If you, instead of writing a joke, you just reference something else and then you just leave. Yep. You just leave.
That's a way to do it.
You go home. You say, I did a good job at my job today. And then you go home and you eat pot roast and you tousle your son's hair and you just live your life. I want to be
And you
dead.
send out a mass email to everyone with the same surname as you, if any one of them wants to fuck.
Isaac, you realize someone would take you up on it, and then your life would be ruined.
I don't know about ruined so much as like, meh.
All right. Well,
incest.
We see while Brad is making the call, Zach and Ed talk, and Ed figures out the reason they can't find the groom is that he never got out of the tube in the first place. Because if you recall, and I will be ashamed if you recall, Zach spilled a bubble tea on the computers before the competition started.
You did say that. I do remember.
I just want to point out that every time I typed bubble tea, I typed tea as in like golf tea. I got it wrong. I'm 0 for 3 on writing
You
tea.
monster.
I know the word. I have big stupid gorilla hands, and I don't.
The E and the A aren't even close to each other.
I do not bother to correct my mistakes because I know what it is.
I'm looking at the keyboard now, and they're kind of close.
So they go to where they think Doug is. Doug is the name of the groom that they've been looking for the whole time. They look down. Go ahead.
Annoyingly, is the name of the character in the movie.
Yeah.
Which, whatever.
Well, you're going to see, Isaac. That's part of the joke. Give it a second.
How?
They look down and Doug isn't in the tube. While they stand there and argue, Doug, who is covered in mud and branches, comes out of the woods and pushes them into the tube. And when I say the tube, there's like, at the beginning of this competition, they rose up from the ground, like an underground facility from like these glass tubes. So they're in the bottom of one. And Doug is upset because apparently, and this is, I'm not kidding, this is what the explanation is. He is upset because he is never in any of the movies because he is the one the other three are always looking for in the other Hangover movies. And he's about to kill them for always leaving him behind, and he doesn't get any of the good lines.
I'm so angry.
Yeah. Yes. And they convince him that he is the best straight man for their jokes that they have ever met. And, of course...
That's not what a straight man is.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
And guess what? That's also so that they can make another thing because he's a gay man.
Oh, come on. I can't. No.
Despite you liking cock, you're still the best straight man we've ever had.
No. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut your lips.
We have like 2 more paragraphs to go.
Fucking do it. Do it. Put it in me.
He's about to kill... I'm not your family member. He's about to kill them for leaving him behind, but yeah. Okay. He's immediately assuaged and helps him out of the tube. They all share a group hug, assuming they've won because they were told if they had a bromance they can win. When Weird Beard comes over the intercom again and tells them the rules have once again changed and it's back to only one winner, they all agree they won't fight but immediately break that pack and run for weapons. All except Zach, who having read the original book knows the twist. Spoilers for the ending of the first Hunger Games book. Fuck. The Hunger Games books end up with Katniss and her love interest, whose name is Peeta, like Peter, but with an E instead of an R at the end.
Oh, I did know that.
I'm sorry, an A instead of an R at the end. So it's down to her and Peeta, and they are expected to kill each other. And she doesn't want to kill him. I'm not going to get into teenage angst.
Right, because they dick each other down.
No.
Sure.
Instead of, because he is like at her mercy. He's fucked up. I think he loses a leg or something. I don't remember. But anyway, instead of killing him, she realizes the only way to escape is because they have to kill each other, because if there's no winner, I guess there'll be another fucking revolt. So they know that people will step in and stop them from committing like Romeo and Juliet suicide. So that's how the first book ends. And
so they pretend suicide and then people
they're
going to
eat. They pretend they're both going to eat these poisonous berries, and
that's so fucking stupid. No, well, now I hate the Hunger Games. Thanks, you ruined that for me.
The Hunger Games are a good concept, but the problem is, it's mired in teenage angst.
Well,
capitalism is bad, and also here's the plot of Final Fantasy VIII for you on top of it, which is teenage angst on top of teenage angst. Yeah. So Zach has read this book, so they try to do the same thing, because he's like, they'll stop us before they let us all kill ourselves, because they have to be a winner. And guess what? No one stops them. So they all eat these poisonous berries. And I'm sorry, I missed a bit. I missed the final fucking absolute nail in the coffin of this movie ever being anything but the worst. They're each arguing about why they deserve to live while they're standing there holding weapons on each other. And Ed brings up Catnip's death, and the others again remind him that she was underage. And he says, quote, "You can't statutory rape your soulmate."
No.
This is why I'm upset, because you've made me a part. You've made me party to this. I'm an accomplice now. I've looked at I was fucking shown the underage character's breasts, so now I'm an accomplice. I'm gonna go to movie jail. And
I'm uncomfortable.
This movie's fault.
It's bad. This is bad.
Yep.
This is really uncomfortable. Did Woody Allen write this?
That's given the amount of times we've argued about Woody Allen, I'm surprised you're making that joke.
I know.
Have you finally turned to the correct side of history?
Woody Allen has made some great movies.
I smell a butt coming on, and I don't mean an ass.
And God,
this hurts you, huh?
I honestly, I don't know how to feel, because like I believe very strongly that human beings can have like sort of non-sanctioned relationships.
As someone who is in what you could call a non-sanctioned relationship, yes, I think there's
I think it's really important to
you do not necessarily need to fit into societal values,
right?
Absolutely.
And love. I think love really should triumph a lot of things.
I agree.
If you're really in love with a person, you know, you can sort of buck sort of these standards. And to be brutally honest, I don't know how to feel about Woody Allen and his relationship with his technically
his wife?
Technically not adopted stepdaughter.
Oh, you mean his daughter wife? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, there's that.
Hey, so that, and Isaac, and I say, I know I'm being funny, and I say this with respect. I love and respect you, Isaac, and I respect that opinion, and I respect that I respect your belief in those things and your belief in and I thank you as a man who, when I first met you, was not in a non-standard relationship and now am, and you don't judge me for that. And all that said, you're talking about the man's daughter wife. And
he never adopted
that's pretty
her.
Fucked up.
He never adopted her.
Yeah,
so,
okay, you're right. He didn't sign the government documents, but it was his daughter, and now it's his wife. Let's just, and it's fine. I'm not, we've argued about this in the past, and we have differing opinions. You've softened somewhat on your opinion, and I'm happy to hear that.
I would argue it's very likely problematic, and possibly the only person who could really weigh in on this effectively is Woody Allen's now wife, former stepdaughter. And problematic as that might be,
I am willing to say there is also, I'm willing to accept a universe where it's not problematic. I don't think that is the universe we live in. However, I'm willing to accept that there is a possibility that it's not problematic.
Okay. And I will say more likely than not, Woody Allen's kind of a douchebag.
Oh, no, absolutely. The man's a fucking douchebag. I do. I'm willing to believe there's a universe where he's not. But in this universe where I live, he's fucking married his daughter.
Yeah. It's probably pretty squicky. So he made some good movies. We'll move on from there.
I have yet to see one.
Come on, Midnight in Paris or whatever that fucking movie was.
No, you've been trying to get me to watch that forever, but
that was good. He has other good movies.
Listen, I'm sure they
Manhattan?
exist.
Come on.
I'm sure they exist. I've yet to see them.
I don't want to make you watch them as a Netflix movie
night. And that's right. It's the same thing as not Wes Craven. What? Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson makes movies that are technically good. The problem is I hate them. I just hate
There's so
them.
many movies I am restricted from giving to you.
Listen, you can get the only movies you're restricted from giving to me are Mars Attacks, because I will have a legitimate panic attack on the air, and that's just a fucking bummer.
Well,
like and I staunchly refuse to watch a Haunted House 1. I cannot watch another Michael Titties movie. I will go crazy. But you can give me a Wes Anderson 1.
I will give you Haunted House or Titties movies, Michael Titties movies.
There's not many more, thankfully.
They'll be coming your way.
I think Haunted House 1 is the last Titties Wayans joint picture. But anyway, like, you can give me a Wes Anderson movie. Just the problem is, It's going to be a 4-hour episode as I'm trying to conversely suck its dick for being good and also explain that it's the worst thing I've ever seen.
I know, that's why I've hesitated.
Yeah, it's problem because I recognize they're good. I just watching them makes me want to be dead. It's so strange.
Speaking truth to power right now.
Yep.
I'm not sure what movie to give you.
Okay.
Going forward.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm going to leave the ball in your court.
I wasn't done with this review, by the way.
Oh,
did you think I was done?
Feel free. Go on. By the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. If you're getting into picking the next movie,
I thought we were over.
No. I mean, I should end the review with "You can't statutory rape your soulmate," but I have a little more.
I thought that was the end.
It should be. It should have cut to black, and then it should just have been like the child crisis helpline, and then the credits roll. But yeah, that's the point where I decided I'm done with it. There's only a few minutes left. I'll run through it at top speed here. They're going to try to think of the murder berries. It's from the books. They eat the berries. The administrators don't stop them, and all 4 of them die. The next day, they wake up and find out it was all a dream. Literally, the explanation was it was all a dream. They're about to be late for the wedding. They play it off like nothing happened on the way to the wedding. Ed runs into a woman in the real world who looks exactly like Catnip. And the end credits are over. The Hangover party montage, much like the original Hangover. This is bad. So yeah, that's the end. I hated it. You should hate it. It's bad. It was never gonna be good. No part of it was ever intended to be anything but the worst thing ever made. Nobody was meant to watch it. Nobody ever cared about it. The only reason it was put out was for a cheap, quick cash grab. It works about as well as you'd expect. Badly. The rape jokes are rough. The underage jokes are deeply upsetting, and I hated watching them twice. The only things I can say about it with any sort of joy is that I like the beak job line, which is the fucking weakest premise I've ever clung to. And the pornographic actresses Caden Cross and Sophie D had their breasts out for the actual entirety of their on-screen time, which was not an insignificant amount of time. As much as I wanted to give this movie a 2 for the joy of saying 2 for the 2 breasts on Sophie D's chest, I can't in good faith give this anything higher than a 1, because when topless women are the only thing I've enjoyed about your quality picture that I have to spend 5 hours reviewing, you have done something terribly, terribly wrong, and you should be tried for your crimes. Thank you, Sophie and Caden, for your contributions. This was real bad.
So who's more of a war criminal? Me or Putin?
I mean Putin, man. It's too fresh to make jokes about that.
Yeah, I will at least take that.
It's putting bullets in medical trucks. It's like violates so many laws.
I can sleep tightly in my watery grave knowing that you've said that.
Yes.
So, well, I'm glad you suffered despite the boobies.
There was a lot of breasts.
You're welcome for the boobies, and honestly, I mean, thanks. Sophie D, I'm gonna go check out Sophie D now. That's just gonna happen.
I did peruse their catalog of work, around this time, because I was like, that's, I haven't seen them in a while.
Oh boy. So, now, when we're covering your next movie, I have 3 choices for you to pick from, more or less.
Great.
Now, do you want a blast from the past from my childhood? Do you want a blast from the past from my 20s?
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
Or do you want perhaps the weirdest movie I have ever seen? And to be fair, I haven't seen it. I've only seen clips of it. But it's a wild ride that, diverges in so many categories where I can't comprehend it anymore.
You have given me a tough choice. Well, The Blast from Your Past as a Child is probably a cartoon.
We have discussed this.
Yeah. Oh, we did. I already forgot about that because it was 2 hours ago. Yeah, that's right.
I don't apologize.
Okay.
That's definitely that's going to be a bad movie.
After our conversation earlier, now I'm thinking you're about your 20s. You were a pretentious cuck.
Well,
no, you were not a pretentious cuck, Isaac. I'm joking. I'm joking. No. I'm not. I don't mean that. It's. The look in your face looked hurt. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. That was a joke. You were not a pretentious
initial
cuck.
Feeling was hurt, and then I sort of remembered my 20s, and I was like, well, yeah.
You were not a pretentious cuck.
Nah, I did. I kind of did that. I was really into Stanley Kubrick for a while, and he's great and all, but I was way too into Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, really?
I was a pretentious cuck. Yeah.
I'm afraid that, and especially given our conversation, I'm afraid that's going to be a Wes Anderson. And I don't have the 12 hours it's going to take me to dissect a movie that is probably good, but I just want to kill somebody for having to watch. Man, everybody in the world likes the Royal Tenenbaums. Is there something wrong with me? Am I just a bad person?
I think there is. I wouldn't say you're a bad person. I think there's something wrong with you.
I had a terrible time. We watched it together. I was so upset.
It's so good, though.
No.
Oh, God.
Oh, is it your turn to vomit?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I will let you know. The Blast from the Past from my 20s is not Wes Anderson.
Okay, that's okay.
So you have a Blast from the Past from my childhood, Blast from the Past from my 20s, and then you have a movie I found recently that is absolutely the most absurd thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
When I thought I was going to be home at 5:15, was texting you, and then I ended up in fucking more meetings, and life just never stopped.
It's 10 p.m. right now.
You had sent me at some... Yeah, I know. Fucking... You had sent me at some point... I guess I'm just not going to that thing now. You had sent me a message that's... Let me read it verbatim, because I'm trying to tease these details out here. I just found a movie that might be your undoing. And I don't know.
That's the modern movie.
I don't know what it could
I mean,
be.
it's not exactly a modern movie, but it's more modern. Well, actually, it's not more modern. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, Larry. I'm going to leave the ball in your court.
On one hand, I don't want to be undone. On the other hand, me being undone will probably be really funny.
It would be, and this movie is in your future regardless.
Well, then,
to be fair,
let's just do that. Let's do the weirdest movie you've ever seen.
Oh boy. Okay, so you might have to sign up for a free subscription to Hoodoo. What is it called? Tubi. Because the movie is called Tommy and the Cool Mule.
What?
Ampersand, if that helps.
What are you talking about?
Tommy and the Cool Mule.
What are you fucking talking about? What am I
starring
looking at?
Ice-T.
And Kevin Sorbo?
Maybe, apparently.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you that my grandmother was deeply in love with Ice-T?
No.
Not deeply in love, but she thought he was the most attractive man she'd ever seen.
Ice-T?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, she liked Law & Order SVU.
I mean, I don't want to detract from your grandma's snapping pussy, but...
What am I supposed to say to that? Isaac? What do you expect?
Regret. Just deep regret.
I'm
about
very
everything.
Sad.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Tommy and the Cool Mule on Tubi.
On Tubi. Mm-hmm.
I don't like saying the word Tubi.
No, it's a bad word.
What is wrong? What is with the word Tubi that is making me upset? 2009, a boy. Oh my god. A boy acting as the man of the household due to his soldier father's missing in what? This is not even written properly. This is syntaxually incorrect, which is syntaxually correct. A boy acting as the man of his household due to his father's missing in war saves the family farm with the help of an amazing talking mule. I didn't know it talked.
Yeah, the talking mule is voiced by Ice-T. Thank you, and you're welcome.
Okay, I am a fan of Ice-T. I like Ice-T.
You won't be. You won't be anymore. You won't be. This part of your life is over.
This is a problem for me.
It really is. Yeah, you're gonna have to die.
What you've done, is create a The audience score is 60%.
Oh no! Oh
no, there's
gross.
no tomato meter.
Well, no, this is definitely very catered to the right of America.
Well, Kevin Sorbo's in it, and that is the man who
soul-destroyingly yeah,
thinks vaccines are fake, and etc., etc. Tommy and the Cool Mule, made by Ice-T.
Yep.
On Tubi.
Next week, I'm covering Heavy Metal 2000, which, to be fair, is
Is that my next movie, to be fair?
The most absurd, violent nonsense
Yeah.
I have ever seen. So you got me good this week, Beard, but I'm coming at you hard.
I'm interested to look into heavy metal a little more and maybe talk about it because it's
I guess we should do the backstory.
It's such a strange thing.
It really is.
It for whatever bad you could say about it, there's nothing quite like it. It's it really occupies a very specific niche.
Especially the 81 version of the film.
I kind of want to see that.
I know, but
I mean, I don't know a goddamn thing. Well, I think I might actually know a goddamn thing about Heavy Metal 2000 because I think
trust me, the 2000 version is a nightmare.
Yeah,
an absolute nightmare.
I think I have seen a group online play a video game adaptation of that for a little bit. It stars a woman named Julie. Any chance?
I haven't gotten to Julie yet. No.
Okay, never. Oh, you've only seen 10 minutes. Never mind. You haven't seen the whole thing. Okay. Well, yeah. So it's going to be interesting, and also, yeah, I hope it sucked your soul out of your dick hole.
Oh God! Speaking of soul out of my dick hole, I have desperately needed to pee for the last 30 minutes.
Well, let me go back to Takeshi Kono.
Oh God, no! Let's do a hot and fast finish before I piss myself, because I really am on the brink.
You pissing yourself on fucking recording
Don't tell me how good that's going to be on air, because I'm going to be tempted. Oh my God. So, send us... find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter, send us an email, oh, Jesus Christ. Send us an email, ballandnetflix at, gmail.com?
Yes. It's Bowels of Movie Night. You did it wrong again. Send us an email at bowelsofmovienight@gmail.com.
I'm on, man. Oh, God.
Send pictures of rushing waterfalls. And...
Stop it. My tank is too full. Oh, God.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God. Well, okay, so next week, Heavy Metal 2000 is going to be an interesting spectacle. And then, Larry, what are you covering the week after
Tommy
that?
and the Cool Mule on Tubi.
Tommy and the Cool Mule. And you chose that.
I know.
I want you to remember that you chose that.
You told me it's in my future anyway. I know why Tubi bothers me, but I can't tell the story on the air because I can't risk any other human beings knowing about why it bothers me.
Oh, is that your masturbation story?
No. Although vaguely related.
I
will never tell the masturbation story on the air.
It's gonna happen.
No,
one day.
It truly cannot.
Yeah, no. After I kill all your family members, then you can tell it.
Don't kill my family members. Just focus on fucking your family members. All right, are we done?
I think so. We love you.
Smell you later.